Thank you for coming in today. Thank you, Greg, for sponsoring us and having us here. I've come to Mining Investor Forum as an investor for a number of years, so it's a particular pleasure for me to be here today and presenting what I think is a fabulous story, news story for you to see. When we talk about mining companies, people often fall back to the big three: people, projects, and funding. And I think you're going to see in nuclear fuel an exceptional opportunity that covers all of those things. So, cautionary statement, mining exploration is a risky business. We've worked really hard to de-risk this company by picking the right projects in the right places and working with the right people to move things forward. As a whole, what you're going to see here today is a group of projects in Canada and the US. We've got district scale opportunity in Wyoming, which is sort of ground zero for in situ recovery uranium production in the US. We also have a great management and board team, and we have a very unique development pathway through our relationship with enCore Uranium, which seeded several of these projects into the company. When we're public, we hope to be actively trading in about a month. We should be about 49 million shares outstanding, north of about $7 million in the bank. So we're not actually doing a funding at the same time as our go public. It's already there, raised at 50 cents. We've got a really solid shareholder base. A lot of people followed these projects over from enCore, as well as building with historic uranium investors in Vancouver, Toronto, some new ones in California, and a few in Europe as well. You can see enCore has a 19.9% interest in the company on the go public transaction. That is related to the vend-in of US assets. The other thing I guess I would say is we have no warrants out. This is a very solid and tight stock structure. I've been in the uranium business since 2005. That was my first venture into the running public companies with Blue Rock Resources. We were the only new conventional uranium producer in the US Southwest in that cycle, in the sort of 2000-2009 cycle. Bill Sheriff is someone I met at that time. He came on my board and helped with that project. We've stayed friends and since then, and for the last few years, we've been watching this, finally uranium moving forward and realizing this is real. The demand is real. The issues around reshoring production to North America are very critical for a lot of uranium users in the utility business. Beyond that, we've got some great geologists like Larry Lahausen with discoveries in their back pockets, Eugene as well, spearing. David Miller ran Strathmore in the last cycle and also has a depth of connection as an understanding of what goes on in Wyoming. So key things, key people, key places. Just a quick map to show you where we are. We've got projects up in southeast Labrador on the Strait of Belle Isle. We also, in the US, we're focused in Wyoming and in Arizona. If we could talk a little bit about our project in Labrador. This project's under option from some local prospectors, and they are part and parcel of our exploration program there. This is, I think we have another 3.5 million shares and $200,000 to deliver to close 100% interest, subject to a 3% royalty with a 1/2 buyback for, I think, $3 million. But this is a really unique project. There were discoveries made in 2009 on our ground when uranium was very much going out of fashion. There were issues in the northern part of Labrador around uranium with the First Nations groups. All of those things have been settled. And we're waiting for the snow to come off and for us to be publicly trading so that we can get out and follow up on those exploration discoveries. Grades of up to 6.7%. Other outcrops nearby running 1%, 2.3, that kind of territory. So real high grade, real world-beating surface outcrop type things. It just, you don't get these very often. We also have one of the most significant lake sediment uranium anomalies in all of Labrador in the northwest, which is associated with a very big uranium conductor or high in the geophysics. So I'm pretty excited to be up there. Moving to America, one of our key projects in the U.S. is in Wyoming. We're on the west side of the Powder River Basin, which is sort of ground zero for ISR production. Cameco's there, the UR Energy, I think Plateau is in the northwest of the basin. It's the correct address. You can see all the red dots there of production, and then the green ones which are moving towards production. We've got a very significant piece of ground there. We've got over 26 miles of roll front on our project. We've got over 100 square kilometers of ground there. We've got some historic resources that we're going to move to bring into compliance. I think the biggest and most significant one is about 500,000 pounds at a grade of 0.16. And that's about twice the grade that you would see in a normal in situ recovery uranium production facility like Irigaray or Christensen Ranch, those types of places. The last uranium cycle, this project or this district was broken up between 6 companies, and no one had very much continuous ground. So nothing really was done or heard about it. Encore Uranium about 2 years ago realized that they had a database of about 3,700 drill holes for this district, which is an exceptional resource to get you started and going where you need to go. And decided they needed to put it into a public company because they're not exploration focused, they're production focused. So that was a great opportunity for me. I was talking to Bill about wanting to be back in the uranium space, and here we are today. Encore Uranium likes this project so much that they retained a back-in right. So they have the opportunity to back into this project by giving us 2.5 times our expenditures and carrying us to production, which is sort of unheard of for an exploration story. We also have a project in Arizona, Moonshine, that has a non-compliant historic resource of 2.4 million pounds at 0.14% uranium. Again, really good grades, really good opportunity to build a resource here. We have 100% of this one. So what are we doing this year? We'll be really focused in Labrador and on the KC project in Wyoming. We may do a little bit on Moonshine to move that forward, bring the resource into compliance, and get that project up and running. We've got a great management team, people on the ground. We actually have some young people in their 30s, which for uranium is actually very young, leading our program. So we've got a great team. We've got, as we go along, we'll continue to have a relationship with Encore, and that gives us the access to their database, looking for additional projects to bring into the company and work on too. So, and again, with KC and Encore, we've got a pathway to production with a minimum 15 million pounds measured, indicated, and inferred. So that's it. Thank you very much.